Start na.
Hey everybody, good evening Facebook, good evening world, good evening Philippines. It's another wonderful Thursday evening tonight. And for tonight, instead of mental health conversations, we're celebrating International Women's Day. Yes! It's March. It's March and March 8th is actually International Women's Day. So with March 8th, we expect to have a lot of women really celebrating. And so we'll talk about that more later. But for tonight, let's talk about when we talk about Women's Month, no, di ba we talk about gender equality, we talk about women's rights, but we also talk about really the power and the women empowerment. So for tonight, the title of our Facebook tonight is The Power of the Single Mom. And with us tonight, we have a special guest from Bey and myself. Hello, Bey. So maybe
Hi.
say good evening muna, Bey, before we intro our guest tonight.
Good evening. I am back with Coach Charles. This is our monthly thing, and once again, I'm your resident mental health advocate. But like Coach Charles said, tonight's gonna be a little bit different. And yeah, with that, I'd like to thank Libni and Coach Charles for having me here tonight. So yeah.
Yes. And for tonight, we have a special guest. This is Libni Fortuna. She's also a women's empowerment, self-love guru din siya, can be told. She has her own podcast and really Spotify, right? On Spotify. And she also is on Instagram. And that's where I found her. So that's why for tonight, I'm so excited to have Libni Fortuna. Yes!
Yay! Hello. Hello. Am I gonna
Hello.
introduce myself and add on to what you said, Coach? Hi, I'm Libni. I am a single mom. I'm 28, by the way. And as what Coach Charles said, I am also into empowerment, more on self-love and self-work. I'm so happy you found me on Instagram because I like to connect with like-minded people. Because there's only a few of us, I think, doing this. And I'm so happy to be able to be sharing this energy with the two of you. So, yes, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm so honored.
Thank you, thank you. Well, of course, no matter what, we want to grow. And the purpose naman of Women Empower, how can we empower women if we're not creating connections and community? So, with that, for tonight, before we even start, no, let's talk about first International Women's Day. Did you know? Magpa-fact mo muna tayo. Mag-did you know muna tayo. Did you know na since 1909 ang International Women's Day, pero hindi lang siya yung very, very parang official ng UNESCO, no? Pero it started with Feb 28 actually dati siya. Feb 28, 1909. And kukunin ko lang yung ano dito. They were actually, the first National Women's Day was in the US in Feb 28, 1909. And then but they were saying the reason why it's March 8 was even way, way back pa before. They actually got March 8, 1857, when it was a commemorating the protest by women's garment workers in New York in
Oh.
1857. So actually marami na after 1909, nag-celebrate, 2 years after biglang naging European countries. Tapos makikita mo pag nagse-search ka ngayon ng International Women's Day, makikita mo Russia, India. So, yun yung lumalabas na very strong sa ibang countries.
Yeah.
But what we want to also share is that March 8 is not just March 8 alone, but the whole March is now being celebrated as Women's Month. Hindi lang day, Women's Month. So, when we talk about Women's Month and we talk about commemorating, no, we talk about women's rights, women's achievements, hindi lang bad stories ang gusto nating marinig. Gusto rin natin yung mga empowering stories. So, gender parity, di ba? So for you girls, maybe what we can ask you right now is, what do you think about the International Women's Month? What do you think of international when you say International Women's Day? What do you think of it?
Libni, do you want to go ahead? Or
Actually, honestly, before I went here, I had to search sa Google kasi so yeah, and what I was reading kanina, it's more like a highlight with the small wins and the big wins of us women. Kasi nga, yun nga, we weren't really that celebrated that much. And it's a great day to reflect on the capabilities and the victories of women. So yeah, it's a wonderful day to like just celebrate us women. And I'm just so happy doing this today and celebrating it with you. So for me, that's the importance of the International Women's Month or Day.
Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful. How about you, Bay?
For me, I love that we have a whole month for women. And it's also my birth month, so I'm really happy about that.
Happy
Um,
birthday.
and I'm just I'm happy that now people are paying more attention to women because now it's like a celebration of the ordinary woman doing extraordinary things. Like
Mm.
being a mom, that's an extraordinary thing. And I don't know how Libni does it. I've stalked her a bit, and she's pretty amazing. And being a single mom and doing everything that she's doing, it's inspirational.
Yeah, exactly. I super love what you said, both of you, that it's about celebrating women's achievements, whether big or small, but also celebrating womanhood in totality. In reality, meron bang men's month? And may men's month ba? Do you know? Parang wala.
Parang wala.
Parang
Baka
ano
may,
yun, yung monthly period mens.
True.
oh, pero pang women din yon, di ba?
No.
So in reality, parang wala na talaga yung men. Naging
Oh.
women power na talaga. Baka nga iniisip ko baka mamaya may nagko-complain, bakit walang International Men's Month?
Men's month.
Diba? Diba kung may Mother's Day, bakit may Father's Day?
Mm.
Anyway, sobrang interesting yon. But for you girls, maybe let's talk about when you talk about Women's Month. Like for March alone, no? For March alone, for you, maybe put it more relative to your life right now. What do you think you are working on in terms of power, or talking about when you talk about being a woman? What are you working on that you want for yourself?
Mm, for me, coach, I saw this statistic that women are more inclined to try to be perfect than men. Um, and I think that's something I want to work on. I want to work on um, letting myself fail every now and then um, so that I can be braver and more resilient. And I feel like as a woman, I should be allowed to fail just as much as men. And growing up, when a little boy falls off of the monkey bars, the parents say, "Oh, stand up, try again." But if it's a little girl, they say, "Oh, you ruined your dress, you ruined your hair." So I want to change that kind of narrative inside my head and maybe um, inspire others to do the same.
I love what you said. You know why? It really resonates with,
Oh.
being this wanting to be perfect when there is no such thing as perfect, right?
Mhm.
And we always run after it because it's like running after validation all the time. That's not gonna happen. That's never
Yeah.
gonna happen. And so because we always have this thing in our head that wants to be perfect all the time, and it's really gonna, drive us crazy again, I guess. How
Mhm.
about you, Liv?
I think it's more on really working on myself because I really cannot control what others say. And it's basically like what Bea said, like for the little children, my kids, I just allow them to express, and I don't set the society's, this is the right thing to do, this is the bad thing to do. What I usually do with that is I question them, why are they doing that? And from that, I can, impart to them what, okay, this is my point of view. And just really working on myself means that the more that I fill my cup, the more I feel others' cup. So my children are also getting what I do, that, and then I just get shocked that, oh, that, and I realize that they got it from me. And yeah, maybe it's more on working on myself and just focus on myself first before anybody else's. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I appreciate your high awareness as well, Livni, na you're looking at yourself first before you even look at your children, and then who they are is now a reflection of you. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so girls na naman, let's talk about, okay lang ba if I call you girls or ladies? Ano ba? Kasi baka mamaya sabihin nyo,
Okay lang.
empowering yun, no? Baka sabihin nyo, hindi yan empowering, ah.
Oh, I'm good with anything, coach.
Yeah, but for me kasi everybody is a girl. Kasi everybody's a baby compared to me. So I call you girls. It's not because,
Oh
yeah, I don't see it like, I talk about it based on age, not not necessarily maturity level, ah. Okay, just to let you know. Okay, so when you talk about now, kasi 'di ba ang International Women's Day, sabi natin empowerment, women's rights, achievements. What do you think were the biggest achievements maybe 10 years ago? Yeah, I don't want to go beyond that kasi you may not be, 10 years ago that you see that have now progressed for women.
no.
For me, women are now more vocal compared before. I think like there's a lot of women coming out like AOC. I think that's her. I follow her on Instagram. She's into the politics and really speaks more about the black American, I think. And then there's Oprah, and then there's really a lot of people coming out, the women, and they're not afraid right now to speak their truth. So I think that's the big difference with compared to before, the 10 years ago.
Love it. Yeah, that's so true. And actually, because of Insta, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, and YouTube, I think it might be nga, there are more women nga who's really putting themselves out there. Do you think so?
Yeah, definitely. Now we have people like Sheryl Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook, whereas before you can't even get into Silicon Valley if you're a woman, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. How about you? What else do you think? What did you notice, Bey, that that's so different 10 years ago? And 10 years ago was only 2011. Oh, shoot. 20 Grabe,
Mm,
2021, 2011 lang. Yeah, what were you doing at 2011?
I was in first year high school.
Oh my God! Kakainis!
um,
Ikaw,
well,
be, ikaw, Libni, asan ka 2011? Kasi
High school.
definitely
High school.
kakainis! So what did you notice on your school maybe? And what do you notice now? What's the difference, Bey?
I noticed that now, women, even as young as like when I was 14, women were afraid to raise their hands because they fear na their um their answers will be wrong. But now women raise their hands, and not just in a school setting, but in a corporate setting. Women are now more able to step up, and they are braver and more courageous because I feel like um, when you're a woman and you're not being treated fairly, you think, woe is me, like, oh no,
You know,
I can't do this. But now you see other women doing it, doing whatever it is that you want to do, and you suddenly feel like, oh, I can do this because if they can, then I can as well.
mm, mm. So they're also being the example and so
Yeah.
setting the standard as well, right? So
Yes.
anyway, just want to say hello, good evening, ladies or men out there for watching us tonight. Our topic for tonight is the power of a single mom. So we haven't even gotten to the meat of our conversation. We're just talking about International Women's Day, right? And just talking about what's happening in the world now as to the changes of women in terms of their place in society versus 10 years ago. Hindi ko na pwedeng 20 years ago. Kung 20 years ago, nasa kindergarten pa lang yata tong dalawa, no? Kakainis talaga.
Actually.
Kakainis talaga. Anyway, so, for me, what I also notice is actually there are more women in the leadership roles. I think, compared to 10 years ago. There are more women that are actually leadership roles that are driving. And it's not only on Instagram or Facebook or social media, but it's really leadership role na talagang makikita mo vice president, they're also leading. Na even in the top corporations, women are already part of that. And it's noticeable because they're actually in terms of percentages talaga yung top execom level tumataas na yung level number of women in the corporate in the executive roles right now, and that's what I'm so proud of, even though I'm not in corporate anymore, that I see these women really very inspiring. Not only that, not only are they inspiring, they're actually driving the growth of the company. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Imagine mo multiple roles sila, mom, busy-busy sa bahay, busy-busy sa trabaho, and yet they're still going in that level. And I'm so proud that they can really do that. That's one of the major things that I wish I could have done and be able to balance. That's one of the major things. And I'm so proud of the women who has. So maybe let's talk about now, Libni, when we talk about you in your role. What not only like a single mom, right? There are different roles a woman has. But maybe what we can talk about is what are the different roles that you're encountering and where is the power in those roles in your lives?
So, aside from becoming a single mom, it's already a superpower, no? Siguro just really voicing it out there and just showing up myself to everyone. Because it's really scared nowadays, most especially the judgment of other people. It's scared to, to just put it out there when you know for a fact that you have so much to say. And, when you're scared that maybe when I put it out there, a lot of people are going to judge me and stuff like that. And siguro it came from before. Now we were, women weren't really allowed to talk, and the generation by generation, like napasa na siya at napasa, yung ganun. So it's more of really just speaking out the truth. That role, I encountered that role right now, and just showing up to everyone and not being afraid.
Mm, nice. How about you, Bay?
For me, the roles that I've encountered are, well, first and foremost, being a daughter and a sister, and being a mental health advocate. I feel like as a woman, I have to fight twice as hard for my voice to be heard. And another role that I have right now is I'm now an entrepreneur, just starting and learning and failing, but still learning,
Yeah.
and just going for it.
Yeah. Actually, that's what I love. And by the way, pareho tayong tatlo here that pero si Libni siguro yung pinaka-expert na being an entrepreneur kasi I'm also starting, right? So, I guess that's what I like about the digital world nowadays. It's not only that, and it's allowing women of all ages, of all stages to start fresh, right? And that's what I love about it. And I actually cheer you on for that. Whoever is out there that, fail forward, fail fast, fail forward all the time. So even if you're being challenged, just do it. If you feel that this is your purpose and passion, just go for it. You know, at the end of the day, money can come and go, right? But when you're at a certain level at your age, you will always ask, how come I did not do that? Diba? And so that's, I think, one of the things that I really want that message to come across to all women out there. If you're not sure, do it pa rin. Do it pa rin. Maunahan na kayo. Basta galingan nyo, there's no miracle pill in success. There's no miracle pill for success. So, anyway, for me, I also notice and I super like the fact that the moms are actually more powerful now. Hindi lang single mom, but all moms are very powerful that they're now 'di ba, ang dami ng mga vloggers there that are moms, that are, pag nakita mo parang, wow, how can you juggle that? Ang
Yeah.
ang ang galing eh. Paano nila na-juggle yung family na to the point na children, to the point husband, to the point na business, and then still be able to take care of themselves. So maybe for you, what are the challenges that you're undergoing right now as a woman that you want to overcome so that you can also take care of yourself? Even if you're single day.
um, for me, some challenges would still be doubting myself and finding my voice. Because growing up, I I was surrounded by men. I'm the only female Gonzales of my generation, I think. Um,
Wow.
so while it has helped me to, think like a man, I feel like I need to learn to balance how to think like a man and own being a woman, and having a heart like a woman. And yeah.
Yeah. They said naman, no, a man is very brain,
Mhm.
the woman is heart.
Yeah.
So you actually have to have a balance of both, right?
Yeah.
And actually, you're more, for me, you're more heart, you're more woman than man. You're so, you're so sweet. You're so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How about you, Livni? How about you?
Me, because I'm so ambitious and I want to do everything. It's so hard to, really juggle everything, like becoming a mom, becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a content creator, doing, financing my children and,
Mhm.
providing for my kids. That's really the struggle, the main struggle for me. And what else? Maybe doing the self work has contributed a lot with this whole whole juggling thing, because if I wasn't that self aware, the problem would have been much more, mas mahirap siya, mas I could have struggled much more than, being not self-aware. So yeah, just really doing what I really want without, compromising my children and, leaving them na they're left there. Just really juggling everything. That's one main struggle right now.
Yeah, it's so, by the way, I just want to share that this lady here has two kids. One 5-year old and another 3-year old. Can you imagine that? Wow, ah. Parang
Wow.
paano mo nga na-juggle? Baka yun ang kailangan mo pag-usapan for those women that are out there right now who are also single and maybe getting overwhelmed. Maybe what will you share to them?
Okay, that's a nice question. Because before, it started even way back before, because I used to be a med student and I had one children back then. But
Okay.
then, tapos, ayun, nabuntis ulit. So, med student pa din. But then, I really had to sacrifice becoming a doctor that time, just so I can take care of my children. And for me to juggle, I really need to ask for help and support, because I really cannot do it alone. So I had to look for a yaya, and I have to ask my family to, please, can you help me with the kids? So also, I had to be really tough. It's not just like delegating the tasks to somebody else, but I also have to toughen myself up and to build myself up, because I also have to do pep talks to my children. Kasi my 5-year-old, yung 4-year-old pa yung 5-year-old ko, a year ago, the eldest, when she was still 5 years old, I already told her na your brother is your responsibility. And right now, she really acts like one. So I really see to it that I get to do a pep talk all day, all the time, so that I can leave them and be independent. Because this is the reality, and I don't want to lie about it. Na we're complete, and you can it's stuff like that. And some people, kasi they're so in denial of you shouldn't be doing this. You should be a full time mom and doing. Well, in fact, I'm not that, and I don't want to lie to my children. So I just give them I really give them the right support in whatever I'm learning now. I pass it on to them, and then I do the actions because our children doesn't follow what we say. They
Yeah.
usually follow what we do. So ayun, I just become the person that I should be so that my children, can see it, and then eventually they know what to do because they're already independent and responsible. So yun, support and support on myself. That's how I juggled everything.
Galing. Galing galing. And meron ka pang brain para maging doktor? Oh my God.
Hindi siya natuloy, pero okay lang.
Uy, kaya pa naman, no? Actually,
Mhm.
marami akong kilala, nag-late in life sila nag-study ng doctorate, I mean, not doctorate, but being a doctor, really going into it. And then you can still be a doctor anytime if you feel like it anyway. But
Yes.
being an entrepreneur is no easy job, because you
Yeah.
also have to do everything on your own.
Yeah. And I think it's also about living your purpose because I didn't really see my purpose becoming a doctor. I really didn't see myself there in that field. So I think that it has to happen for me to awaken and, start to live more on the purpose that and fulfilling my purpose. Because more I feel so fulfilled right now in doing what I really wanted and at the same time helping other people. So I guess that's it. And then what I realized is that when you're living your purpose, you don't go broke. It's just that. Because before I wanted to become a doctor, not because honestly, not because of the profession itself, but because of the money. Honestly, it was that. It was that. It was an external validation. It was external things. But really, when the universe really knows what he wants, or God really knows what he wants for us, and then
Yeah,
sometimes yun nga sinasabi ko, the universe or God has to shaken us to awaken us. And
yes.
I stopped being like, okay, tama na, ayoko na mag-fight sa'yo, God. Okay, ito na yun. So, it wasn't really a regret, but I was really thankful that it happened because I learned a lot of self-discipline, a lot of skills that I
Yeah.
couldn't learn anywhere else. So yeah.
Yeah, that's galing, galing, galing. That's really good. And so kung ganyan Libni ngayon, what's your what's your 10-year plan ba for yourself? O pwede 10-year forward hindi lang 10-year backward 10-year forward yung itsura.
It, yeah, I love what you're asking because I usually do vision writing. And before I did everything, the content creation, the empowering other people, because it's really very, very important to have a certain goal in our life kasi without it, mahirapan tayo to get back up. Like, the motivation that we need is really within ourselves. So the 10-year plan that I have, ayun, chika ko na. Kasi I'm so happy doing this. I love empowering other people. I love sharing my thoughts. And I love being authentic kasi there's nothing to hide. And everybody, we're all connected. We're all connected. Yun nga. So, I see myself really talking to a lot of people. Like, yun yung goal ko yung maging TED Talk. Yung ganyan.
Sabi na nga, Bey, kaya bagay na bagay
I
kayo.
know.
So parang ganun. So I had that in mind even before. And yeah, I also have a plan to have this cafe near lang sa house namin. And the cafe is like the whole cafe's team is just empowering each other. The merchandise there will be more on empowerment. So that's the long-term vision, to have everyone become more aware. And yeah, that's what keeps me going and doing everything, all these things. And even if no one is listening to me, even if it's just one soul that's listening to me, I'm already happy. And that's the whole point. Kasi before, coach, kasi I used to look at the metrics kasi like, hala, who's watching me right now? Ganon. I was like that kasi I really wanted to share. So ako yung na-stress. But then after that, I realized that the right people will always find you. So okay, I just shut up and let the universe do its job. And then eventually the right people really found me. And I'm happy to be able to become a tool for that. Dami ko sinabi. Pero yun siya, coach. Yun siya, babe.
Yeah, like I said nga, it's really not, kasi sobra tayong results oriented, right? I think that's what we call the fixed mindset. When we always think of, dapat ganito, dapat ganyan, dapat by this time ganito na ako, dapat may doktor na ako, dapat ganyan na ako. Oh my God, sobra tayong stress na nga. Tapos meron pa on top of that, ang dami pang mga parang given down to us na mga expectations, whether it's from the family, like from the mom, from the dad, whoever it is. Oh, kasi babae kang ganda mo, dapat asawa ka na by this time. Dapat ganyan, 'di ba? Parang nagiging worse pa yung experience because of that. And then I'm not saying not everybody's gonna have the same experience, right? But then it's very important for us to just understand that it's our own expectation that has to come. It is our own expectation and ideals. It's not anybody's standards. Alam mo naman, 'di ba, meron mga terminology before sinasabi nila late bloomer. 'Di ba? So everybody has their own journey in time.
Agree.
So hindi
Agree.
lahat tayo pare-pareho ang angat sa buhay. Like ako, sasabihin ko late bloomer talaga ako. Kung kailan lang ako ganitong age, saka ako magfa-Facebook live. Di ba?
Yeah. Mm.
Everybody has their own time. So I guess that's what we also want to share with everyone. So again, I'm just gonna stop for a bit, just saying hi to everyone out there. Meron mga nandito si Joe, as usual. Hello, Mommy Joe.
Hello.
Mommy ni Bey, automatic nandito. Hello.
Hi, hello po.
And Hylene Tanrico, sabi niya, hi, Bey.
Hi.
Tapos, Yuan, hello, yes. I have these women here that are very powerful, young. Yes, very young. Yes, very young. But also very powerful because they actually are very confident in their own skin. So what we're talking about tonight is really talking about International Women's Day, right? And we talk about International Women's Day. What does that mean for us? So maybe for you guys, as a question also, as a single mom, then Libni for you, right? And you only have 3-year old and 5-year old. 10 years from now, 15 years old, teenager na. Oh my God. 15 years old na ang girl mo, lady, ano na, teenager na siya. At yung isa, 13 years old na batang lalaki. Nako! Ano ba nakikita mo ngayon? Ano ba itsura mo ng role mo ngayon? Ano ka na?
Ewan ko, pero I don't know. I'll just pray for the best. Like, Lord, tulungan mo ako. But I don't want to think about it. Like, every time a friend of mine, kasi I also have friends na same age, then their kids ba is around 8 years old, then nagdadalaga na, and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, kinakabahan ako. Oh my God.
Kasi,
Pero like, oh yeah.
ano na yung role mo as a single mom? Can you imagine if single ka pa nun, pero I doubt it, pero if single ka pa nun, di ba? Ano na yung role na that you will play in their lives as a single mom?
Siguro, I know that I don't own my children, but I really have to guide them. But by letting them express din at the same time. And siguro doon ako mag-thank you talaga sa self ko, sa past self ko, and after, you know, kung 15, ano bang, ilang taon na ba ako niyan, mga 40 na siguro or something. Doon ako magte-thank you sa self ko that I really worked on myself and really not ask for validation from anyone else. And really, you know, just knowing that I'm gonna raise them right. Hopefully. So more on guidance lang, ganun.
I thank you. That's very nice. And the fact that you're actually very aware. I super love that you're so self-aware and that you're passing it on to your children. I love that. That's really the only way that we can do. And as a mom, I guess you're doing your best. That's wonderful.
Thank
Ikaw,
you.
Bey, ano mangyari sa'yo 10 years from now? What's the role that you will play in society as whether you're single, whether you're married? What's the role that you play as a woman in this society 10 years from now?
10 years from now, like Libni, I see myself giving TED Talks. I love doing that. I love speaking and, you know, living my truth. And I see myself being a successful entrepreneur. With or without a man, I see myself happy. And yeah, I just see myself being me finally, you know, not just hiding behind who I wanted to be back then when I was a teenager. Because I thought, my mental illness is stopping me from doing things. My physical illness was also stopping me. But now I know na, no, those are just limiting beliefs. And
Yeah.
I have the right to break those beliefs and live my truth.
But what I want to ask you guys is, how did you break, right? Maybe it's also important on the how. How are you, what are you doing that is really breaking the mold from where you were before to become the powerful woman that you are now, and even in the future. So maybe for those people that are out there who wants to ask, how do you do that?
I love that question, Coach Charlie. No, um, it all started when I started searching and knowing that I didn't want to stay stuck. Like I felt really stuck and lost. It was way back 2019, and knowing that I was lost and I don't want to stay there on that being depressed, being sad. I really listened to podcasts. I listened to YouTube inspirational, chuchu, yung mga ganon. And then I said na I don't want to stay here. And I prayed na Lord, can you open doors of opportunities for me to be able to, break through wherever I'm going right now. And I know there's so much more for me. And then eventually I met my life coach. I met my life coach, and that was when it turned around kasi we did a lot of things together that really made me more aware right now. And I really want to thank Sarah if she's going to watch this on a replay or what. And because of that, I was able to become more self-aware, and it was really becoming self-aware is a wonderful gift that you can give yourself kasi that's how you become more awakened. You become awakened, and that's how you take your power. And because of that, I was also able to break the limiting beliefs that I have, that hindi ako magaling, people will judge me and I'm so scared, ganon. But then I said, oh, these are just stories in my head, and I just did it anyway. And one thing also is doing things that I'm scared of. Like I know I'm scared, but I know this is gonna help a lot of people, and this can add value to other people. So I'm gonna do it anyway. So yeah, just facing my fears and embracing it, and when knowing that it's just my thoughts and it's these are just stories in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's really going beyond the fear. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going really beyond the fear. And yeah, the beliefs definitely, those are your fear factors.
Mm.
But it's always us that has to decide, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna validate it's a ghost? So you still have to go forward, or else you're gonna be stuck inside the house forever with the ghost. Or do you wanna go out and really get into that freedom? Maybe that's what we always have, diba? Sometimes we're always stuck in our head, and that's where the ghosts are. That's where the fears are. And then we don't even see that there's an opportunity to open the door.
Right. Can I add to that, Coach? Kasi I was able to interview a friend, and we were talking about fears. And then one time daw when he was 6, he was 6, as young as 6, he was so scared of the dark. And then he said that he was so inspired with the parang Green Lantern na movie na parang, basta yun. Anyway, so he was inspired by that movie. Kasi kung sasabihin ko, hahaba pa siya. Anyway, he was inspired with that movie because he was so afraid of the dark. He went inside the room one night daw, and then just locked himself in the dark. And then after, sabi niya, okay, wala lang naman pala. So after that, wala, he was already facing the fear na, oh, it was nothing. So I was able to I had a aha moment at that share na sabi ko na, oh, for you to know if it is really scary, you have to go through it. And
Yeah.
at the end of it all, it's just the stories in your head. So, yeah, there's really nothing to fear. These are just stories in our head.
Yeah.
Ayun.
But I also want to add with what Libni is saying, no? And kasi maybe they think na, oh, successful ka na eh. Pero ang dali-dali. Pero I just want to add, no, maybe you can also share Libni and Bane, diba? Hindi naman lahat ng overnight, okay ka na, 100% go ka na, diba? So I just want to make sure that people are very clear that there are still steps that are taken in the journey, that there are still down moments. Maybe that one you can share, Bay, in your journey as well to your empowerment.
Mhm. Um, for me, there are two moments that actually empowered me. And the first one was when I first asked for help from my mom. Because when my mind was already thinking about the worst, instead I was met with love and compassion from her. She hugged me and then she went on this mission to find me the right treatment plan. And so when I graduated and I gave my very first speech on mental health, I thought, if my mom can give me that kind of compassion and that's what made me live today, what's stopping me from giving that same compassion to others out there who need it, who don't have their own version of Gonzales, right? So if they don't have a mom to turn to, then I thought that's when I want to step in. I want to be their Gonzales, the one who will save them. So yeah.
I love that. And I wish I had that Joe Gonzalez as well. Yeah, and I totally believe that. But I also want to point out that what Libni was saying, that she was saying thank you to her life coach. Yes, coaching works, huh? And I'm very proud of coaching, and I'm very proud of being a coach. That this is something that I'm doing, because I know for a fact that this week kasi, di ba, pati si Jeff, nandiyan si Jeff kanina, pati siya, nagsabi siya na, that he got to be number one in Sun Life because he was actually, I was coaching him last year. So he was now top one siya in terms of the group nila. So I'm very
Wow.
proud of the fact that, yes, coaching works, but there is effort. Yung importante, there is effort coming from the person. It's like si Libni, oo, na-awaken nga siya, pero may effort pa rin. Hindi naman yung coach lang yung nagtrabaho. So it's really a partnership and collaboration that makes it happen. So when we talk about empowerment, we don't talk about just putting it in the head. Sabi nga nila, knowledge is power. Yes, knowledge is power, but action is more powerful than knowledge. And that's what we want to talk about tonight is empowerment is not just a voice or a word. It's all about taking action and taking charge. So that's what I want to put out there right now, that you have to take charge, which means that you have to make a choice to get to your power. And so, what is the power? So maybe we want to talk to you tonight, ladies here. What is the power that you took charge and really took action, that you will continue taking action moving forward in your life?
I'll start na lang. Siguro the power that I have, no, is knowing that I am a creator and everything that I need is within me. Because sometimes if I allow others to like, if I keep on asking for help from others, it takes away my power of making the right decisions for myself. And sometimes, um, there are times kasi na I feel lost and hindi naman ako always empowered as a person. Like, it has to be constant effort. It's not an overnight thing that I just became self-aware. No, it's not like that. I had to do meditation every day. I have to do journaling. I have to do this and that so that I can be grounded all day. Ganun, parang ganun. So, siguro knowing that everything that I need is within me. I am a creator kasi we all are. We are, in essence, we are all creators. We are a divine being. And knowing that I have everything within me, it's already power kasi I can create a lot. If
Yeah.
nobody's there to give me what I need, I can create it. And I don't need to ask help from anybody. Alam mo yun, kasi sometimes we keep on asking help from somebody and if hindi natin nakukuha, we feel like we're so disempowered. But no, all that we need is within us. So maybe that's it. Yeah. Yes,
Thank you.
coach.
Thank you for that. That's powerful lesson. How about you, Bay?
I think for me, I have the power to overcome I whatever illnesses I have been diagnosed with, and the power to inspire others to do the same thing. Whether that be through my blog or through sessions like this with you, Coach, the power to reach people and for them to realize na life is still worth it. I
Mm.
think that's the that's what gives me purpose in life, and that's what power is for me, changing other people's lives.
Yeah, that's so true. I resonate with the fact that power is different for different people, right? When you talk about power, and I just want to highlight power kasi is different. Eh. Like for you, Bey, the power is really the words, right? And the presence that comes out. And the same for you, Libni, that you have the message that you want to share. And for me as well, right? Um, but also there is a different power that I wanna hold on to. If there's like a power, if you had the one superpower, what's your superpower as a woman?
Hmm. Coach, hirap ng tanong.
Ayan, 'di ba? Napapaisip kayo.
Ako gusto ko
Mm.
dumami. Honestly, gusto ko dumami.
Wait, wait, gremlin ba?
Oh.
yung,
Diba,
yung,
dami kong gusto gawin, so dadami ako. Ganun, coach.
gusto ko actually yung idea na yan. Gusto ko yan.
Smart.
Thank you, thank you.
Ikaw, Bey, ano yun sa'yo?
um, just the power to be genuine. If you're genuine, then other people will gravitate towards you, and other people will want to be like you. And I think that would be a great power, to help others help themselves.
Ako, if ever yung power, I think power for me that I super want to have more is the power of connection, right? Kasi hindi lang ako gagawa, yung iba rin gagawa. Hindi ko na lang kailangan mag-multiply. Mas marami gagawa for me.
I love it. Productivity talaga.
Multiply. Sige, touch kita. Ikaw next. Ikaw next.
Tag.
Nice, coach.
so, so yan. I guess I'm so thankful for you, girls, for tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. Maybe for as we end, and it's International Women's Month, I just want to share with everyone out there that it is International Women's Day on March 8th. And so for this year, 2021, the theme is Choose to Challenge. So I'm gonna just share here. The theme is choose to challenge, #choose to challenge. And then you can also hashtag IWD, International Women's Day 2021. And what I suggest is if you can, ladies, even men, I ask you to join us. Please comment in our Facebook Live and our Facebook post by the pictures of putting your hands up and just smiling. Wherever you are, just smile. And so for tonight, I just want to share with you that this month is International Women's Month, and take the opportunity to put yourself out there. You can even check out IWD 2020, IWD International Women's Day.org, IWD.org, and you can even post your picture there. And
Oh,
basta nakaganyan ka. Yeah. And just
cool.
make sure you add the hashtag IWD and the choose to challenge hashtag. And then post it there. And then I don't know lang if when they're gonna post it, but you can actually create a login and then post your picture there. So for tonight, what is your one message, ladies, as we end tonight to everyone out there when we talk about empowerment? And even for you, Libni, because you are a powerful single mom and entrepreneur, what is your message out there to everyone?
If you're in doubt or you're stuck or wherever you are in your life right now, know that everything that you need is within you. And just fill up your own cup of love, of empowerment, of wisdom, and eventually it will just flow and everything will follow. So yes.
Thank you, Libni. I love, buti lang na-meet ko tong girl na to. Next, Bay.
For me, it would be that you are already brave and you are already strong. The hurdles or the failures or the hard times is just making you prove it. So it's all about believing in yourself and believing in what you can do and what you can go through.
Wonderful. And for me, my message to everyone out there, you are not a success without the failure. You are both the yin and the yang. You are without fear, there is no courage. So embrace your fear, but even with fear, go forward. So for tonight, thank you everyone once again for joining us. It has been a wonderful evening of having this conversation with these two beautiful, young, beautiful women. And so I wish you both more luck and joy in terms of your goals and in jobs, entrepreneurial businesses. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't leave because we're gonna take picture.
Okay.
So with that, everyone, please post your comments below. Like our page, if you can share our page, and please post the picture with this, and then hashtag IWD 2021 or choose to challenge. With that, everybody, have a great evening. Good evening, everyone. Bye.